Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Okay, you got me. I said I'd podcast every week and then this happened. It's called overwhelm. A lot of us feel overwhelmed by the number of options that we have to do and often get paralyzed, unwilling to make a choice and move forward with life. The good news is I'm back. I've had time to reflect on what was working well and what was a big ass. The thing is, I was completely overwhelmed with running a business, podcasting, writing, filming, editing YouTube videos, as well as working on TV and building an online course. Honestly, all I wanted to do was more of this. And sitting on my couch watching Netflix. Now, we use the idea of overwhelm as an excuse not to do what we're meant to. By the end of this, you'll have 4 strategies to snap out of overwhelm to be more productive. But first, take a deep breath in, breathe out, and listen to this.
I've got something for your mind, your body, and soul.
Hi, I'm Kari Watt, the creator of The Kari Cares Show and a digital strategist with nearly 2 decades of experience in marketing and communications. Gosh, I sound old. It's my mission to help you achieve and exceed your marketing goals through a tailored digital strategy to help you turn browsers into customers. For the best digital and social media tips and to rank higher on Google search, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new podcast. And you can follow me on social media for some good vibes. It's free. Having some time out got me thinking about overwhelm and how it is one of the most indulgent emotions that doesn't serve anybody well. It pretends to have a purpose, but it has no purpose. It also pretends to be caused by the amount of things that you are doing in your life. Overwhelm is never ever caused by what is going on in your life, but it is caused by the way you think. While I could say my life was hectic with work, podcasts, interviews, castings, auditions, filming, editing, and building an online course, and these things were actually happening because I was working 7 days a week, I could say those things caused me overwhelm. But that wouldn't be exactly true because what causes overwhelm is the way I think about it. There's the things that are going on and then there are our thoughts about it. Having some respite or being heavily in the moment of overwhelm can actually be really good for the soul on so many levels. First, you sleep more. You know that thing that most entrepreneurs don't do is sleep more than 4 to 6 hours per night. Sleep deprivation makes you age. It can give you grey hairs and makes you a crazy mofo. If you're anything like me, I can sometimes go into a manic mode of creating so much content in a short period of time, then crashing out for 10 to 12 hours and waking up thinking, what the fudge have I done? Don't get me wrong, the content ideas are pretty awesome, but it's the delivery which absolutely shit. After momentarily having a meltdown, I sought the advice from my friend Renee Slansky, who is a dating and relationship coach and the founder of the Dating Directory, who is also an entrepreneur, is renovating, trying to plan her wedding, and has a successful coaching business. And this is what she said. Kari, your 20% is somebody else's 80%. Don't sweat the small stuff. But you still can't help feeling overwhelmed and compare yourself to everyone else and wonder how you can do it better. Stop doing that. Looking at perfecting whatever you're doing. That's the second mistake of overwhelm, comparing yourself to somebody else or everyone else. Wondering how you can make your content better is a great thing, but don't compare yourself to others, especially people who have made it already. Like, take a look at the podcast Hong Kong Confidential. When you listen to this podcast, you'll notice that Jules and her guests take you on a story. It's emotionally charged content that you can reflect on in your own life. Comparing my podcast to Jewel Hannaford's wasn't really being realistic because she's been publishing a podcast every week for several years. And while my podcast started and then unfortunately I had an operation and spent a good part of the year working on my health and recovery, the list of excuses could run on, but I'll stop whining here. Remember, every successful person started somewhere, and the road is almost never an easy one. Some start in the garage of their parents' house, even at 30 years old. I mean, I've even couch surfed after splitting up with my partner and returning to Australia. So this brings me to the next point of health and well-being. Creating too much content may take its toll on your health and relationships. This is where you can be assured that your audience and social friends understand your health issues are prevalent. They are human, right? They know you are human. Well, at least I hope they do. So they will also understand that sometimes we need to stop and reset, revive, and survive the daily grunge. Focus on being well, work on the 4 legs of the table. And what I mean by this is the family leg, the friendship leg, the health leg, and the work leg. In my world, I've been working on family and friendships over the past year, as well as getting back into healthy practices such as eating more live foods. Now, live foods are things that were once grown from the ground, like lettuce, tomatoes, spinach, carrots, etc. And I can go into those sort of foods, but I think I'll wait to interview a chef or health expert in the next section that I'm adding to this podcast, which is the Kari's Couch. These are monthly interviews that I do with thought leaders, CEOs, and entrepreneurs. We talk about their niche, how they got started, and any digital marketing and social media advice that they have for you, and how to start in their industry. So on the couch next week will be one of the co-founders of Ozcast Network. His name's Andy Martin.
When it comes to podcasting and Ozcast and where we go from here, so we've got 50 or so podcasts at the moment. We're growing rapidly. Every month we have 1, 2, or 3 brand new podcasts starting.
Who talks about working at Nova, how to start podcasting and community building on social media. When you create content, thinking about the short fix is not going to cut it. For example, with a podcast or a YouTube video, you really need to be publishing every single week for at least 12 months before you can see your results in your analytics and even monetize from it. Unless you're a Kardashian with a huge social media following, or you do something crazy or weird that gets you overnight success. But remember how the Kardashians started. My point is, take it easy on yourself. The first point is to take some time out. When you feel overwhelmed, it's okay. Break things into small incremental steps. Try concentrating on one task at a time. And seriously, don't sweat the small stuff. Remember that overwhelm is just a thought, and you can change your thinking with these simple words: I can do this. Now, what decisions make you feel overwhelmed? Reach out and comment below, and let's support one another with practical solutions. And next week, remember, I'll be talking to one of the co-founders of Ozcast Network, Andy Martin, who's quite a great guy, actually. He's taken time out of his busy schedule of running Ozcast Network and Podvertise. And also, he's just had a baby with his partner, and he's got 2 stepsons as well. And he's pretty funny. He talks about one of the most interesting, interviews that he's done, and it's pretty funny. So make sure you tune in next week. And remember to hit the like button and share this with a friend who could use a helping hand. Why? Because Kari cares about women helping women and men who could use that helping hand. See you in the next podcast. Until next time, peace.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.